good, everybody? It's your boy Everton. So today we're talking about Root car insurance. Now, yes, I actually left Geico, went with Root. I got my insurance quote. I already made a video about that. I'll link that here. So I'm not gonna go over the process for that. Now I'm gonna talk about 3 strange things that happened after I got my insurance quote, right? So essentially, one thing I will tell you that I did make a mistake, guys. If you're going to try Root, which I suggest everyone do, definitely want to keep all your options open. I have it. Insurance premium has dropped almost 47%. I'm paying $37 a month, but it could have been lower. It could have been lower if I had to use someone else's referral link. If you're thinking about joining Root, check the link in the description. My referral code will be in there. If you get a quote, they'll give you credit off of it as well. But anyway, moving forward. After I completed my test drive, I know some strange things happen. So the first thing is that, well, I did notice that the app kept tracking me, right? After I had gotten my quote, which I'm not gonna lie, I really kind of assumed that it would. I just didn't know if it actually would. So this did confirm it, right? So essentially what happens when you're going through your, test drive to see if you're gonna qualify for a quote, there's an icon that pops up in the notification shade, and it basically says, hey, we're crunching the numbers. Essentially what they're doing is they're just tracking where you're going to, what times of the day are you driving, et cetera, et cetera. And then they're utilizing all that information to populate your driving score along with all the other stuff that they take into consideration, like credit, location, all that other good stuff, right? So actually, I didn't expect that to happen, especially since my coverage with them doesn't actually start until April 15th, which is in a couple weeks. It's almost 18 more days, I believe. So, I mean, at the end of the day, my coverage with them hasn't even really started yet, but they were still tracking, right? And that's to be expected because they want to make sure that you weren't just on your best behavior when you're trying to get the quote. We want to make sure that we have a good driver altogether, which may be good for safe drivers, right? We don't want bad actors or bad pretenders. So what you could do if you don't want your location tracked is that you can obviously delete the app off of your phone, but the system or their company gears you to really utilize that app because a lot of functionality is actually based off that app. So yes, you could technically get your insurance card, save it to your phone digitally, or just print them out and keep it around with you. I'm not gonna lie, that's the majority of the time how I interact with my insurance. But if you want to file a claim or if you want to get roadside assistance, which is included with your policy up to $100, you actually have to utilize the app to be able to file those claims. So they heavily incentivize you to do that. Not only that, it's how you kind of view your coverage and edit the coverage, and also change certain details about where you're living, etc. So the company knows that, hey, in order to kind of make sure that they have the correct data, they want to gear it so that you can, keep the app on your phone, keep it up and active, and keep it running. So they make a lot of functionality available only through the app. The website is there for payments to view your current coverage, but it's really limited in this functionality. The app is where it's at. So the second thing is that, well, obviously with the more data they have, my score decreased. Yeah, my driving score. I'm not gonna lie, I knew I was being monitored for qualification or something for a few weeks. So when I did the test drive, I was really on point, made sure that I kept a consistent routine. I drove within good visibility hours. I always made sure that everything was on point. As you drive, and I didn't get a perfect score when I got my quote, I just got a really good score because, hey, there are other people on the road, things happen. Sometimes you have to hit your brake really fast if someone darts out in front of you. Doesn't mean it's your fault, but do whatever you gotta do to stay safe, right? Anyway, so my score did decrease, right? I did notice that, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, they are continuously adjusting your score based on more gathered information. So that's another thing that I did notice and you guys want to be aware of. But the third thing that happened was actually uninstall the app, because what happened was I reset my phone every few months, every 6 months or so. I reset my phone just to keep my phone. I have a Galaxy S10. I've had it for 2 years plus now. And I just like to keep things snappy and up and running. So what I do is I always wipe my phone every 6 or 7 months or so, just to make sure it resets back to all the factory settings, etc. And I manually add those apps back that I need. So I did reinstall the Root Car Insurance app. I signed in and I noticed that, and I can actually show you guys now, my driving score is actually similar to when I started driving with them. So essentially, or the test drive. So essentially when you do your test drive, you're on a scale, right? And this is the entire scale and you are somewhere within here. The more you drive, the shorter and more specific you are within that scale, right? But when you start out, you're somewhere in here, and it shows you that. Now I'm going to show you exactly where my driving score is now. And when I got my score, it was very specific, right? It was very specific where I was. This is where I am today. Basically, I'm within that broad spectrum because I did uninstall the app and reinstalled it. And when I suspected that this is what they were doing, they're like, they reset you based off of the stored data that was built within the app. It just confirmed it once I actually noticed that I was back in that broad spectrum. Now, this is actually very telling. Number one, it shows that they're not keeping an active log that updates every time that you drive. It seems as if the location information and all that stored data is within the app, and it periodically updates to the servers or whatever they use to see how well you drive. So technically, if you like, hey, let's just say that you drove your car very crazily one day and you're like, wow, that was not a very good experience. If someone were to say, hey, how good are you of a driver? You'd be like, man, that was not my best performance. Well, what you could do technically, as of right now, this is all theory. I don't know that this should be true or not, but they could just delete the app, right? Because it resets and reinstall it. Like, it resets your score. It is something that I've noticed. Maybe it manipulates the system, I'm not sure, but it might be able to help you. I do know that for me personally, one time I was driving and someone pulled out in front of me and I had to brake really quickly. My score the next day dropped. It happens, right? I still got a quote, still got a really good quote, but it happened, right? So at the end of the day, I want you guys to remember three things. Number one, after you get your quote, it will continue to track you. The app is heavily dependent on your functionality within the policy, so they heavily incentivize you to keep the app on your phone, keep it up and running. You do give it certain permissions to be able to say, hey, track my location, track little micro movements within the phone. So those are things that you do allow the app to track. And it does track you whenever you're moving. And also, one last thing is that before, when you're doing your driving, it does ask you to classify if you've driven or not. If that was actually you that was driving after it detected that you were moving. It no longer does that after you actually get your driving score. It doesn't do that anymore. It just kind of just takes it for what it is. Definitely keep that in mind, guys. I just want to make this really quick video. If you guys do think about signing up for Root Car Insurance, definitely you guys can click the link in the description. And then when you sign up, you'll get 25 bucks off of your quote if you do get granted a quote. So far, I've been saving a crap ton of money with it. I plan on signing up back with them, but check them out, guys. Try them out. Let me know what your guys' experience is. And yeah, guys, let me know how it went. But until next time, I'm Everton, and I do videos Everton's way. Peace.